Hi everyone, I'm Greg, bioinformator on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Moxfield. That's how it's spelled with ones and zeros, and that's a zero there. Here's a little custom treasure token of me that was commissioned by a friend. Um, I'm like I said, I'm on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Moxfield. On Twitter, I'm trying to hype up all my friends that are streaming stuff, and I do box breaks, um, and yeah, and then otherwise just kind of um, get into conversations on Twitter. And I'm trying to branch out into Instagram, but that's just getting started. But in any case, what I'm doing here is they finally delivered my Phyrexia All Will Be One bundle completed edition. The bundle complete edition, and so I ended up buying. I got my pre-order in early, and I got myself a sealed case. So that's got 6 bundles in it, and I got it in at a price point that was like around $60 a bundle. So that's about so that's like $360 in cost. And Then I also pre-ordered 2 boxes later on as the hype was growing at Walmart, and I got 2 at $80 each. So that's $160 total of money that I spent to crack packs. And I went in a pack cracking spree, but most of the videos I have on this aren't, you know, they aren't doing terrific with traffic or anything. So I figured I'd condense it for you. So I've gotten through all of the breaking and looked up prices, and so I thought maybe this might be a useful analysis here, and that here's a sealed case, and so I've got price buttons on the key pulls from each case. And I've got them arrayed from low value to high value. And As you can see over here for the Walmart boxes, I got lucky. So there were two boxes that they pulled to put in the package that they sent me, and they ended up doing pretty darn well. But that's luck of the draw. But here we have what kind of distribution they're giving you in a case. So like if you're just like randomly picking a box out of a case, then this is an instance of what kind of distribution you could get within a case. And now the prices on the buttons don't include the land prices. So these are the prices for the oil slick foil, mythics, plus any good pulls out of the set booster packs. And so right now, currently, the lands are worth about 40ish per bundle because you're getting 2 of each. And there's different prices per. I think the swamp is the most expensive one. Um, but Yeah, so it's somewhere around 40 right now. Now the prices in general on the oil slicks and has gone down precipitously from where they started fairly recently. So that number may go down over time because people are cracking the packs and they'll enter the ecosystem and drive the price down. But for now, it's about 40 for 2 of each land, at TCG current values that they're selling them for. So anyhow, the land price isn't included in here, but then I factor that in later on. But if you're just looking at the pulls and not caring about the lands that are in every box, um, yeah. So we had a minimum of $46 in good cards out of a box, up to a max of 106 out of this case. So now this case, it didn't have the most expensive one, the Lesh Norn, in it, um, and but it did have some good stuff to get these higher values. Um, yeah, so enough of that. But that's like giving you the general idea of what you can get. So, but this means is that if you don't care about the lands as much and you're just really caring about those mythics and getting some good stuff out of the packs as well, um, you at the prices that these bundles are going for now, you might want to factor this into account. I think so. Going by the min, a min of 46. If you add in $40 for the land, then it's 86. So you can pull a box that's only going to get you $46. I mean $86 worth of good stuff. And so at the prices that I've seen these at like 120 or something, um, that's maybe too much of a risk for that. If you're not just buying one for fun and that's it. Um, yeah, so $86, you might take a hit on a box, so you're not guaranteed to get, and I had two within in the case that were at that low of a price point, so a 46 and a 48, and add in the 40s for the lands. Now still at 120, it's still not paying 40 even in the highest ones if you don't factor in the lands. Now I paid 60 for these, 60 for each of these boxes here. So these all did okay or well. Not even factoring in the lands, and then if you factor in the lands, it does even better. So I think overall in the case, there were $460 total in the key pulls, and 200. If it would be 240 for the lands using the $40 estimate. So that's $700 of value out of the case. And the cost of the case was $360. So that's good. that's pretty good. But had I just chosen a box or two at random, I could have been either very happy or very sad. So that distribution there is real. Now in the case of the Walmart, I just did, I did pretty good on that as well, because now it cost more. So it was, $80 each. So it was $160 for the two boxes. But it was $308 just in the key pulls, and $388 if you factor in the 388 total if you factor in the lands. So with a sample size of only two, it just means that I got lucky and I didn't get the bad boxes. Okay, so now that I've gone through all of that financial stuff, I'm actually going to show you some of the cards. So we'll go from the worst to the best. Okay, so this is our $46 box. So first off, you've got these oil slick lands. So I put the it's Wooburg as you're going up and down. So plains, island, swamp, mountain, forest, and then it's cycling again for those of you that are care about the order. At least there's a method to the madness. But anyhow, okay, so here's an oil slick plains. And okay, so we've got a Tekuthal Inquiry Dominus. Oops. We also had Mechanized Production. Okay, so this one was a list card. Mechanized Production. Okay. Okay. Now, there's only 2 cards left, so that gives you an idea of why this was only a $46 pack. I only had 2 good hits out of the set boosters. So we have a Tyrannus Rex in the oil slick. So you can see the foil line going there, and you can see that it's got texture to it. And there's a Drivnod, Carnage Dominus. So, okay. So that one wasn't super thrilling. Okay, our $48 box. So we have our showcase the island. I mean, the lands are pretty. So I got a Zopendrel Hunger Dominus, which I actually wanted. So it's not super valuable. This is the showcase foil, and but it's not it's not Step Complete. It didn't come out of a collector booster, so but I'm happy to have it, because that was one of the out of all of the stuff that I opened out of the main set, I hadn't gotten any of that. There's also another Takuthal Inquiry Dominus, and an Urtet. So Urtet's cool. 5-color mirror themed decks. Okay, the first of the foils is the oil slick foils is Nissa Ascended Animus. And as you can see, there's the texture there. So it's cool art. The the foil and the texture is cool. And I mean, they're calling it an oil slick, and it'd be nice if it, I think if it was a little less dark in the art, because they're going to be like, hard to read on spell table probably. And all will be one. So this is a cool card. It's not super valuable, but it's another one where out of the main set and all of my collector and set and draft boosters, I only had one of the regular version of this that came out of everything that I cracked, and I cracked a bunch of stuff. So I'm happy to have this version. And yeah, that's pretty sweet. Because this is the one where, whenever you put one or more counters on a permanent or player, only one deals that much damage to target opponent creature an opponent controls, or planeswalker an opponent controls. So, yeah, and so make a Gruul deck and you're doing counter stuff. This could be deadly. Okay, but that was a $48 box. So now let's look at the $75 box. So we've got Swamp. Yeah, so you can see the texture. Okay. I got a Goldspan Dragon from the list. So that's over $10 on its own. And Mondrak, Glory Dominus. So, yeah, tokens. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. And you can do this sacrifice thing to get an indestructible counter on it. So that's an excellent card. Despite, at least anecdotally, people pulling it all over the place. Like it's showing up a lot in online when people are cracking stuff. So here's another Nissa, an oil slick. So that's looks cool. It's not the top end, but Vraska is pretty good. I may be slightly off, but I think this is like around a $28 card currently. Who knows what it'll be tomorrow by the time I post this. But we'll see how much of a crash these have, and if there's a rebound, how long it takes to rebound. But yeah, so this was our $75 adventure. So now just slightly better into the $80 range. So here's the mountain. Just trying to catch the angles so you can see some of the impact there of the actual texturing. Okay. Now there's another Urtet. And Atraxa Grand Unifier. It's the normal version of it, so it's the budget version. But I still think it's like around $14 or so currently. And another Mondrak. So this isn't a cheap card. Okay. Phyrexian Vindicator is our next oil slick. Yeah. So it is a cool effect. Yeah, so Phyrexian Vindicator, if damage would be dealt, it's got flying, and if damage would be dealt to Phyrexian Vindicator, prevent that damage, and when damage is prevented this way, Phyrexian Vindicator deals that much damage to any other target. So that sounds like it could be something, a fun challenge to piece together a build for. And the winner out of, well, at least slightly more than that, I guess I think it worked out, was the Takuthal Inquiry Dominus. So the Modrak is worth much more than this one. So Modrak was tokens. This one's flying, and if you would proliferate twice instead. So a proliferation doubler. And for this particular set, that can be good because this set has a lot of toxic and infect and whatnot going on. Plus counters, and different kinds of counters. There's oil counters as well, which is a little bit underdeveloped compared to the rest. But okay, so now we're going to move on to box number 5. So that's a $105 box. So now we're going to get into the spice, I think. So here's a forest. Yep, so it's got a lot of texture going on as well. It's very intricate. So here's another of that Zopendrel Hunger Dominus. So this is like the cheap version. This is only like $3 to $4 in this version, but it's only my second copy of it, and I play a lot of green, so it'll be useful. It's like an unnatural growth or something. I always forget whether it's unnatural growth or unnatural strength. I think it's unnatural growth. But essentially it's doing the at the beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness of each creature you control until the end of turn. So it's unnatural growth on a creature. Staff of Completion. So this is a little versatile. Pay 1 life, destroy target permanent you own. Pay 2 life, add 1 mana of any color. Pay 3 life, proliferate. There's a tap for all of these. And tap, pay 4 life, draw a card, and you can pay 5 to untap it. So I'm sure some shenanigans can result from that. If you've got the mana and or life to handle it. Blackcleave Cliffs in the borderless, so at least that reaches, the normal versions of this land cycle in this set are cheap, but the borderless, at least some of them, particular color combinations, had some value. Okay, Jace the Perfected Mind. So that's the cheaper of the two mythics in this one. I think this one's a little less. Yeah, I mean it's got some texture there in the figure itself, and but it's just a little more sparse compared to some of the others. Okay, but what's the winner? What's getting us up to 105 here? It's Atraxa Grand Unifier. So this is like I think the second place card. Only behind Elesh Mom. But yeah, so and Atraxa. There you can see all the detail that's going into that. So that was excellent. And here's another pack another box that did just about the same. And you'll see the reason why in just a bit. But here's the planes again. We already looked at the planes with the first pack. So here's All Will Be One. So this is my second normal version of it, and I have the fancy version of it. Mycosynth Gardens. Helm of the Host as a list card. Okay. Phyrexian Vindicator again is our first of the mythics. And oops, we got another Atraxa. So I didn't get an Elesh Norn Mother Machines out of this case, but I got 2 Atraxas. And like I said, overall, I did well because I had the whole case worth. I had to take the hit on the stuff that wasn't as good, but I did get some other stuff to make up for it. And as long as the lands don't crater, then it that worked out pretty well on the case. But had I just bought 2 boxes, I might not have been so happy. But the counterpoint to that is sometimes you are lucky. So with the Walmart boxes, the cheaper of the two is 133. And so there's a island again. And here's another Mycosynth Gardens. There's a Takuthal Inquiry Dominus again. And another Goldspan Dragon from the list. And Elesh Norn, Mother Machines in the standard version of it. But it's still an awesome card to have. So now we're down. Now we're down to the final two, and there's Luca, bound to ruin, and so this one. So this one isn't sparse, but it's very dark. Uh, so there's a lot of the black ink going on, but there is texture there. But it's shiny. Okay. So, but obviously this isn't what brought us up to 133. So guess what? Oh, what? Oops! All Atraxas. So that's my third Atraxa from the opening. So I got two out of the case and one from a random Walmart box that I pre-ordered. So that helped carry that a bit. Plus, the Alesh Norn doesn't hurt either. So now we're on to the final one. So this one, was 175. So we got our Megasith Gardens. That's not like that's like maybe $4 in this version. There, but it's a decent card. Nahiri, the Unforgiving, in the borderless version. So that's pretty cool looking. I think I had gotten a lot of the normal version of Nahiri and cracking everything else. So this may or may not have been my first borderless version of that. Ikermoon Gauntlet. So this is a cool card. Planeswalkers you control have 0 proliferate and -12 take an extra turn after this one. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, choose a counter on a target permanent, put an additional counter of that kind on that permanent. So yeah, so if you're doing non-creature spells, you can get yourself towards getting to the 12, particularly if you have some proliferate stuff going on as well. Or yeah, and you could be using the 0 proliferate to help get you there. But someone's gonna try and kill it. You know, so I don't know. I don't know how easy it is to actually pull it off. A Blightsteel Colossus. So this is from the list. So a fortunate list pull. So that was excellent. So that's not a cheap card. Okay, so now we're down to the final two. And one of them is Vraska. So this one, like I said, I think it's like currently a $28 card. And it's pretty. And so that's cool. And that's a nice hit. But we did get, or I got, I keep on saying we, you're vicariously, Alesh Norn, Mother of Machines, Oil Slick, foil version. Yeah, pretty sweet. So, and this was just lucky chance out of one of the Walmart boxes. So did not get it out of the case. So even as you bought a case, you're not guaranteed that you're going to get it. So, I think I lucked out overall until the prices crash further. Maybe they'll reach a point. I think the fact that I got in on this early and locked in the price, so that kind of makes it easier for me to be doing well. So if you're going around buying this stuff on your own, keep that in mind, particularly at high prices for the bundle. So like if you're paying 120, you definitely risk not making your money back in pulls. And anecdotally, there will be people, there'll be people that are happy and people that are sad. And I know that, the distribution is what it is, and it's supposed to be, um, you know, random, so you're not always gonna get your money back, but you really hope to when it's expensive, as expensive as this. But so I hope you enjoyed this tour and through the polls from a full case and 2 random boxes, and some breakdown on the finances, and yeah. So I let's see, what are we doing on time here? That's like half an hour. So it's faster than some of my other box breaks. So I just tried to do this condensed thing. I hope you like this, and subscribe on my YouTube, and like the video and share it around, to see if I want to keep doing stuff like this. I'm trying to find the medium of how much effort I can put in, and have it mean something to people. So um, yeah. So I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye.